in July. Welcome back aboard the Holly Jolly Polite Ship, everybody, for Christmas in July with Seasick. Now, with it being Christmas in July, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about what it is that started Christmas in July and how it's developed over the years to become such an iconic part of this family's traditions. And also talk about how it ultimately led to the development of Halloween in May. But before we get into all that, I have a couple new decorations this year that I want to show you guys. So starting off, since I only rediscovered Bentley, I like to call him, last year, I decided to bring him up for Christmas in July this time and put him on this short little shelf where we would have the Halloween houses during Halloween in May. I also brought up this little guy. I'm pretty sure he wasn't here last year. This guy was, but not this guy. Of course, the main new addition this year is the 2025 Hallmark Snowman, who was only an addition last Christmas, so he couldn't be up for Christmas in July of 2025. Speaking of the new snowman for 2026, I will do a video on him coming up during Christmas in July, so be expecting that. On top of that, I also changed the projector slide for Christmas in July because I like this one a little bit better. I think this is going to be the permanent Christmas in July one. And then, of course, the final new addition, this blanket, which was made for the 20th anniversary along with the 2023 Hallmark Snowman. So it only goes up to there, but it has every single snowman from 2003 all the way up to 2023 because that was when it was made. And it's actually really high quality. I have a review video of it as a short that I've already uploaded, and I'm just waiting for it's a scheduled upload. So that should be around sometime in the middle of Christmas in July. But now that we talked about the new, let's talk about the old. Our story starts back in 2020, when the first Christmas in July looked a lot different than it does now. This is the only photo I have of the original Christmas in July. You can also tell the layout of the living room as a whole used to be different. We changed it about 3 times depending on where I had all my old play sets. I think they're all in my mom's school now, where she teaches for her kids. But originally, they were downstairs before I moved them up to my playroom, and then when my playroom became my gaming room, I moved them all to my mom's classroom. But as you can see, the original living room layout was very different, and so was the original Christmas in July outlet. What? Now, as you can see, my tree that I have now is almost as big as the living room tree would go up to about where the alarm sensor thing is up there. Or if a little bit taller, then the angel would almost touch the top of the roof. My tree, I want to say, I don't know how tall it is. I don't feel like looking at the box because it's downstairs. But originally, you can see I had this black tree with the white lights over here in the corner. The garland somehow never changed. I still have the same gold garland. And I also used to have that red tree skirt before a certain someone had to go and pee on it. Anyway. Now, in the original photo, I had the tree in this corner by the stairs where the end table is now. I also had this wreath on the wall above it, and I had 3 snowmen on the table. The original 3 were 2004, 2012, and 2015. And I have a reason why I bring up the specific snowmen I do, which I'll get into when we get to that segment. And I'm also sure I had the projector up here too. You just can't see it because it's on the ceiling. And for the final thing that's different about the original setup is that, as you can see on this end table here, I actually brought up one of my mom's Rudolph houses from her village and put it on this end table here. I'm pretty sure it was the factory. In fact, I know it was the factory because it used to have a present on a spring that was popping out of the shuttle, that the slide that shot them out. That broke off, and I vividly remember that happening at Christmas in July. Additionally, I'm pretty sure we also baked cookies that first Christmas in July. And we also had a bowl of M&Ms, I think, on this table. Now, as for why the tree's different, I'm not going to go into too much depth on that because I already explained the entire history of this thing in a previous video. But basically, my original tree was black and it had white lights and it was about this tall, right where 2010 is. And then that slowly started breaking. The star, which originally belonged on our tree in the living room, that was also originally from a tree that my dad had, broke. And then the top layer of the tree broke, and then the bottom layer of the tree broke when it was upstairs in my room one Christmas. And then, coincidentally, my mom's teacher's aide brought in a tree for the classroom, or no, I think, did my mom bring it in? Someone brought it into her classroom and gave it to me because I think her principal brought it in, but the aide didn't want to put it up because it was too tall. So she brought it home and gave it to me, and now it's in my room on Christmas, and it serves as the Christmas July tree. And now I think we need to talk about how Christmas in July started, because it started in 2020, which was the same year as the pandemic. And the reason it started was because I was bored as hell all summer and had nothing to do, so my mom came up with the idea to bring a couple of the Christmas decorations up and just kind of scatter them around the house and do a little Christmas in July. And that worked pretty well at the time because I had such a small tree and we could kind of just tuck it away in this corner over here. And then the tree broke. Christmas in July had at that point become a yearly tradition because Christmas was always my favorite holiday, and it was just such a fun thing we did the first time that I decided to do it again. And as it went on, those traditions of baking cookies and stuff like that additionally slowly just got forgotten until it became what it is now. Now, on the topic of, because we got to move a little bit slower, and as I started making it a yearly tradition, I came up with a plan for the snowmen. We put my 3 favorites on the coffee table, and then we put my mom's favorite and my dad's favorite on the end tables. And my original 3 favorite were 2010, 2012, and 2004. Who, as you can see, is now under the end table, and we'll get to that later. But at some point, we kind of lost the whole extra stuff we did, and it just became decorating, keeping the decorations up, listening to Christmas music, watching some Christmas movies, and just kind of chilling. And slowly throughout the years, more things were added. Like, I think Santa became a tradition earlier, but it was always the 3 main things: the tree, the projector, and the snowman. And then one year at Christmas, I stupidly hid the projector in the back of the box where nobody could find it. I did the same thing with all the Halloween decorations and all the Christmas decorations that I knew full well we were going to need for Christmas in July. We were also more willing to dig throughout the boxes originally and pull out boxes to get to what we need, but as the years grew on, we stopped wanting to do that because why dig through boxes when it's only going to be up for a week? Which is why when I randomly got the idea, if we're doing Christmas in July, we might as well do Halloween in May. And that idea came out of nowhere at the worst year possible. Because that year happened to be the same year that I tucked every single decoration for Halloween and Christmas away. Meaning that there was only so much available in accessible boxes for Halloween in May, and most of the stuff was too big or too much of a pain to put up, to the point where if it's not anything that's just laying around in my room, it's too much to put up. I explained everything about Halloween in May in that video, but basically what happened was there wasn't enough stuff to put out that was just small. So I had to improvise for Halloween in May that year, and the first year of Halloween in May became the worst year of Halloween in May. Meanwhile, Christmas in July that year had literally nothing to put up. Not even the projector, because said projector was buried in the boxes. And so that became the worst year of Christmas in July as well. One thing I can remember is that while we could find the box for my tree, what I do is I split, if you watch my Christmas video, you know this, and my Christmas in July decoration process video, I split the decorations and the tree between 2 boxes. So the star, the garland, and all the ornaments are in the box with the rest of my decorations for my gaming room and my bedroom and my bathroom. And then the tree itself is in its own box. Meaning that the only thing I could bring up were the snowmen because they were the only ones in an accessible box. And I couldn't even decorate the tree because while my tree stuff was out in the open, the rest of the stuff was buried. So I couldn't get to it. Then I'm 90% sure I either skipped a year for Halloween in May or just forgot about it until that summer. I did just skip it because it wasn't on my channel that year. Speaking of which, this is the point where I started my channel the next year. And this time I wasn't stupid and learned from my mistake and actually left the stuff out. And this is where we started making it a priority to leave out the stuff for Christmas in July and Halloween in May. And then, after I started my channel, the very first holiday special I did was Christmas in July. Now, by this point, I had also made it a tradition to bring up the snowman that released the year before. So, like I have now, for 2026's Christmas in July, it would be 2025, because that's the newest one. Christmas in July being my first holiday special made me more willing to do a Halloween in May the next year. And so that year, I made sure I left everything out after we put the Halloween decorations away in November. And then I got the idea to add something else to Halloween May to make it a little bit better. Halloween in May. Because the tree was always the main focus point of Christmas in July, so I thought, why not have a main focus point for Halloween in May? And that focus point is my mom's village, which means that whole not wanting to dig to get to stuff thing is completely out of the way now because I have to dig anyway. There's never going to be a time when that box isn't buried. It's one of the things that holds like the foundation of the entire stack of boxes up. So that got completely thrown out the window for Halloween in May. But when it comes to Christmas in July, there's a couple main boxes. First is the tub for my snowmen, which are the two tubs that my snowmen are in are the first thing you see when you walk into the storage part of the basement. They're the two dark gray tubs with the green things. I've showed you guys that before. And they're right in the front with nothing on top of them. Then originally, the box for all my decorations in my rooms, plus the tree decorations, was originally just a cardboard box, but this year I got a clear, tub that I could put it all in. And so when I put the Christmas stuff away this year, I put it in that instead. And now that goes right on top of the snowman's box. A couple of the other decorations can be thrown around in the snowman's boxes too because they're so big. Then, of course, we got Santa, who's always out in the open. And then the box for my tree. Last thing I got to do is stack the box for my projector out in the open, and it's easy to get to. And now we get to last year's Christmas in July. And last year is where the snowman thing kind of got messed up. Because I had a new second favorite now, 2024. And because 2004 was such an iconic part of the Christmas in July thing, I decided instead of getting rid of him entirely, I'd just tuck him under here. So now not only do we have the snowman that released the year before, which is the newest one, but we also have this guy tucked under here. And now we're here where we are now. Which concludes our Christmas in July history video. And once I get the chance, I will definitely make the review video for the 2026 Hallmark Snowman. So get ready for that when it comes out. Anyways, thanks for watching. Be merry, not seasick. Bye.